What up? Welcome to another video. Today I want to talk to you guys about Dragonflight Mythic Plus Season 1, the dungeon pools that we're going to be getting. But more than that, I kind of want to extend the conversation to content in general that's coming in World of Warcraft. And something that, I don't know if a lot of people discuss it or not, but it's something that we were discussing in my stream about kind of like the shifting in content when it comes to World of Warcraft. And why I think Legion was such an incredible expansion when it came to like general World of Warcraft content. But before we get into that, let me show you off some of the dungeons that are going to be coming in Season 1 of Dragonflight. So we have the dungeon pool now. We have Ruby Life Pools, which is a dungeon that I'm absolutely looking forward to. I think it looks incredible. I really love Ruby. It's quick. It's kind of like Gambit, kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's similar to Gambit. It's very quick paced. You have a little bit of this changing of scenery as well, which is always nice. But one thing I love about it is that it's back-to-back bosses, right? So after the first boss, you clear another big portion of trash, the majority of trash in the dungeon, and then you do the second boss, and you immediately do the third boss after that, which is quite cool. So very, very short, mentally quite easy and quick to kind of work through. But then Algathar, not played that one yet. The Algathar Academy. Not good offensive, that's the one where you're going to be dragon riding and stuff, and I do think that's going to be quite a cool dungeon as well. Definitely something where people will have to optimize their dragon riding ability in order to perform better in that dungeon, which is going to be kind of funny. But I think that'll be interesting. It's a good experiment for Blizzard to see whether it does well or not. I genuinely don't think the dungeon's that bad. It could be more interesting in a way. It's very empty at parts. But I think it's a cool concept, and I think we should commend Blizzard for trying new things. Azrael Vault, again, that's also similar to Ruby Life Pools in the sense that after you kill the third boss, I believe it is, I think it's a 4-boss dungeon, you kill the third boss, bang, immediately jump into the last boss as well, which is quite cool, and some of those bosses are pretty good as well, particularly the last boss. Quarter Stars coming back again. So these are kind of the 4 older dungeons we're going to get now. Quarter Stars coming back. I'm not super loving that. We've already had it. I mean, in EU, we had a bug where we had Legion Mythic Plus, like time walking, for 3 or 4 weeks in a row because it got bugged. It was only supposed to be 1 week. And we literally just had that. We also had the time walking previously. Like, we've had Court of Stars so much over the course of Dragonflight already. We've had it for 2 seasons, I believe. So I'm kind of chill to skip Court of Stars again. However, really quick, jumping into the game, something to note with Feral Druid is that we are going to be able to farm this ring again, which, if things stay the way that they are, is going to be a very good ring for Dragonflight as well. We'll have to see what other loot pools open up and stuff, what we get from the raid and whatever, and how things work out for us. But potentially another good ring there. So, Court of Stars, we're actually okay with that, but, you know. Halls of Valor, probably one of the most hated Mythic Plus dungeons of all time. I have a really funny story where I used to have a guildie called Maud. Shout out to Maud if you're watching. I know that you play a mage these days, and I've seen you in game from time to time. But I used to have a guildie, and in Legion, obviously when Halls of Valor was relevant, he used to ask me all the time. He'd be like, "Yo, does anybody want to do my +3 depleted Halls of Valor?" For anybody who doesn't know, the way keystones used to work in Legion is if you didn't meet the timer, they would deplete. So you'd still have to do the same key, but you didn't get any reward at the end. So you'd have to like revive this dead key to get a new one. And to have a +3 depleted key, that means you either one-chested the two key, or you depleted the +4. You know, either way, either scenario, it ain't looking good. So, yeah, Halls of Valor, it's a rough dungeon. I'm not sure how it's going to fare with new affixes and low tank threat. Could be a problem. Shadow Moon Burial Grounds, I'm excited to see how that plays out. I do like that dungeon. And then Temple of Jade Serpent as well. Which, I mean, I'm excited to see both of these. Honestly, I don't know how it's going to work out. I'm excited to see them and see how they end up faring. But, that's kind of my summation of some of those dungeons. Blizzard's going to be releasing 4 of the new dungeons, 4 of the old dungeons, and this is sparking a lot of conversation throughout, like, the WoW communities and streamers and stuff like that, talking about it. Oh, we should have all 8 dungeons from Dragonflight first, or no, it's okay that we have a 4-and-4 split. some people asking for more dungeons and different ratios. You know, why not 6 Dragonflight and 2 old ones and that kind of stuff. But I wanted to weigh in a little bit, see your opinions as well. But for me, I can see both sides. I do think that it'll be good that we have some of these new, like, we're going to get a teaser of some of these new dungeons. It extends, instead of having 8 Dragonflight dungeons for 2 years, now at least we have a little bit of a shake-up. We have 4, and then we have 4. So it's like, at least we have that fresh, new experience again later on in the expansion. So I can see that being a benefit. We're also getting old dungeons coming back, which again is a good thing to reuse old content, keep it relevant in some way. A little bit of a nostalgia hit, but at the same time, it's just a good bit of fun, and it's good use of resources. I genuinely have quite been enjoying Iron Docks and Grimrail Depot and Karazhan coming back. I'll be real with you. In Season 4 of Shadowlands, I've actually not minded it. Initially, I was like, I hate Grimrail. I don't really like Iron Docks. But now, with the changes, the nerfs, and stuff that have had to be done, like, you know what? I actually kind of like Grimrail. Call me crazy, but it's actually okay. I didn't think I would say that. Don't get me wrong. It's not the best dungeon that's ever been invented. It's definitely buggy, but I don't mind it. And so, yeah, this could keep things fresh. The problem for me, right? The conversation that I want to have isn't, oh, should we have 4 and 4, or should we have all 8? The question is, why are we only settling for 8 dungeons? Like, can I just show you this? I just want to talk about Legion for a second. Like, Legion, we have 13 dungeons, and Karazhan is actually 2 dungeons, so we have 14 dungeons here. Yes, Violet Hold is not actually a Mythic Plus dungeon, but it was still a dungeon that was implemented, and I actually think it's cooler that Violet Hold wasn't a Mythic Plus, because you can have dungeons in the game for story purposes, for experiences that, you know, go through that journey, and not necessarily have to force it to be competitive. So I like that idea, right? You don't have to commit as many resources in tuning it to be a Mythic Plus, so it's actually probably quite quick and fast to make those dungeons as an additional bonus. But we had like 14 dungeons here in this expansion. We got Cath added, we got Seat of Triumvirate added, we got 2 Karazhans added as well, each stage of the expansion. But on top, and I know that people go, oh yeah, but that was really resource heavy, how are they supposed to do that now, right? Okay, well, what did Legion have? Legion had, well, it launched how it did with all the zones. It had 14 dungeons. It had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different raid tiers, and I do count Trial of Valor, okay? It had 5 different raid tiers. I would love to see 1 to 3 boss dungeons come back, or raids come back again as a nice little, you know, filler piece of content, something new to jump in and experience with your raid team, keep things fresh. 5 raid tiers, 14 dungeons, artifact weapons for every single spec with a unique artifact tree, 9 different skin variations for each artifact weapon, including cat forms and bear forms. It had the Mage Tower, it had Broken Shore and Argus, which was 3 specific unique zones on top. It had class order halls as well for all 12 or 11 classes at that point, 12 classes at that point. We also got the Suramar quest chain, that beautiful like storytelling experience in Suramar, plus that little mini cave Suramar event. What else did we have? I think we even had more things that I'm forgetting. It just goes to show the invention of Mythic Plus, period. We had and legendaries as well. We had so much content in Legion, and I don't see why there isn't any reason that we couldn't see more dungeons and even potentially more raids coming into the expansion, because we had it before. It's shown that it's been done. We're paying that monthly fee. We're buying those expansions. We're buying those store mounts. I'd like to see that kind of stuff come back into the game and just like see more of these things. Why can't we start with 8 dungeons in Dragonflight, play them all fresh in Season 1, then in Season 2, they implement a new dungeon, Season 3 a new dungeon, and they can shift the pool around, I get it. Maybe if you get up to 10 dungeons, there's a lot, especially with Raider IO being a thing, I get it. But just something to kind of consider. I know that there's obviously like cons to the whole situation. I know that Blizzard are gonna be like, yeah, well, it's development time. We have to like have less of this if we're gonna have this. And I know that people they have this argument of like people kind of get put off of doing new dungeons, because I remember Sea of Triumvirate when it was released. Nobody had any clue how the dungeon worked. Yes, it was overtuned, but nobody knew how to do it. And even until the end of the expansion, people didn't really know how to do it. The difference is that was Legion. This is now, right? That was like 4 years ago. Well, over 4 years ago. Well, 6 years ago that it, like Legion launched, right? Mythic Plus was a new experience for people. Now it isn't. People jump into dungeons these days like that, and they know the formula of how to know to learn a new dungeon. So I think you can add new dungeons to a dungeon pool and not be afraid about it. But hope you guys enjoyed just like a quick little video here talking about that kind of stuff. Let me know your opinions in the chat, what you're thinking, what you're feeling. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Take it easy.